Hello and welcome to another episode of The Flour Man.
Flour Man, you're not ready for Flour Man. Flour Man makes good things with flour. Flour Man, you're not ready for Flour Man. I love his food. Please give me some more.
So what am I going to make today? Well, growing up as a child, I had every kind of porridge you can think of. I had cornmeal porridge, hominy corn, which is a corn-based porridge, semolina, oatmeal porridge, you named it. If it could be made, if it was a pulse that could be made into a porridge, I had it. Even flour porridge, and that's what I'm going to make for you today. It's very tasty, it's very quick, and it's very nutritious. So let me take you through what I'm going to have today. First of all, I'm going to talk you through the ingredients. Obviously, the first ingredient, I have wholemeal flour. It's very important for flour porridge to use, in my opinion, 100% wholemeal flour. If you try this with white flour, it gets kind of gluey, there's not a lot of nutrition in it. So for porridge in particular, there's nowhere to hide with the flavour. So I'm going to choose 100% wholemeal flour. Next, because I have some milk. If you use cow's milk, you can use cow's milk. I use soy milk here. Next, we've got some water. Some utensils we're going to need: a whisk and a spoon to stir. We have ourselves a pot to cook our porridge in. A measuring scoop to measure out the flour. We have a little bit of cinnamon, which we're going to use to taste, a little touch of salt, and some sugar. Okay, flour porridge is probably one of the easiest porridges in the world to make, and also one of the quickest because they cook much quicker than oats. It cooks much quicker than oats and much quicker than cornmeal, and it's easier to make. So, first ingredient is our flour. I'm going to add about 1 cup of flour per person. Now there's going to be 2 people eating this flour porridge, so I'm going to add 2 cups. 1, 2. Next, I'm just going to add some water and then mix it. Now, I'm adding enough water so when I mix it, it forms a paste. Now, I'm not making dough. Think of it a little bit like when you make, say, custard from a custard powder, when you have to add a little bit of water to the custard powder before you add it to the rest of the mixture. A little bit like that. So all I'm going to do is, all this is so far is just flour and water. I'm just going to whisk quite briskly to take out any lumps, make sure it's nice and smooth, make sure the water is mixed in perfectly. What I'm going to do now is mix this for 2-3 minutes so it's nice and smooth, and then we go next door to put this on the stove. Okay, all done now. I've whisked the porridge thoroughly, the oats and water, sorry, the flour and water thoroughly, and I've just transferred it to a slightly bigger pot and I put it on the stove, but the fire's not on yet. Okay, mix it a little bit more. Now once you start applying the heat, it's going to thicken really quickly, so you need to have your milk and your water ready, okay, because flour porridge is a very quick porridge to cook, unlike cornmeal, which can take quite a while, or even oats. So I'm putting the heat on now, using a halogen heat. It's coming on straight away. Right, so I'm going to add the water. So now it's quite a runny consistency, but it will thicken. You can use a spoon or a whisk. I like to use a whisk because it helps keep the consistency quite smooth. So it's very watery at the moment, but as the heat gets to it, that's going to thicken up. And it's going to thicken up very quickly. Now I find if you put your sugar or your flavourings in towards the end, for example, if I put the cinnamon in about halfway through, that's fine. But if you put the sugar in straight away, I find by the time you get to the end, you probably need more sugar than you think. If I put it in towards the end, you can use less, and the porridge is still sweet enough. Okay, so it's on the flame now, and I'm just stirring while it heats. It's going to thicken quite quickly. Okay, now as the porridge starts to heat up, it thickens very, very rapidly. So you need to make sure you have your milk on hand, because the milk's going to be the next stage. You must keep stirring it, otherwise you'll end up with lumps. If it's thickening too quick, you can always just take it off the heat a little bit to stir it to make sure you've not got a lot of lumps in it. Although I actually don't mind lumpy porridge, but I suppose everyone does. So I'm stirring it, stirring it, stirring it. Consistency still quite smooth. Right, around about this stage, I'm going to add some cinnamon. Add as much to taste. I'm going to stir that in. You can smell the cinnamon coming through quite well. So I've added the cinnamon, that's all I've added so far. Keep stirring. I've turned the heat down a little bit to help me control it, because if the heat's on high, it will thicken way too quickly. Keep stirring, I can feel it thickening already now. It's getting more the consistency of porridge. Now a little bit of salt. I find salt in sweet things helps bring out the flavour, even of the sweet element. Keep stirring. You can see it's thickening. Keep stirring. Apart from the fact that you have to keep stirring, it's a very, very simple porridge to make. Keep stirring. And now, around about this stage, it's thickening up, getting very thick now. I'm going to add the milk. Adding the milk smooths out the mixture a little bit, buys some more time, keep stirring it in. Add a bit more. I'm not measuring this out because sometimes these things are to taste. You can add more or less milk to flavour. You don't even have to add milk if you don't want to. But I like a little bit of milk. And then we stir. So liquid has gone a little bit thinner again now. Don't worry if when you're stirring you get a couple of lumps in a whisk, because as you stir, as the porridge thickens, they'll ease themselves back out again. Okay, I've added all the milk I'm probably going to add for now. I've added a little bit of cinnamon as well, a little bit of salt, and the porridge is thickening up nicely. It's nice and smooth, no lumps. Stirred out, whisked out all the lumps. The only thing really left to add is a bit of sugar. Now when you add a bit of sugar, it makes the liquid, makes the consistency a little bit more liquid just for a while, but then it will thicken back up again. So this is almost a perfect consistency for how I like my flour porridge, depending on if you like yours really thin or really thick, depending on how much water you're allowed to evaporate out, and the longer you do it, a little bit of water evaporates, and also the flour actually absorbs the water as well, which makes it a little bit thicker. So that's getting to the kind of consistency I like. So I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit, back down to 1 to buy me some time. And next I'm going to add a little bit of sugar. Again, sugar to taste. So here we are, see the consistency, nice and smooth, almost perfect, almost ready. A few more whisks to make sure it's exactly the consistency I want it to be. And porridge wise, I think we're done. But as always, the proof of the pudding, or the porridge in this case, is in the eating. So let's try it. Okay, we're back. Our flour porridge is nicely made. I'll give a close look at that in a minute. But before we start, this is our breakfast. We're going to say grace and then we're going to start. Anthony, say grace.
Dear Jesus, please bless the food and please help it to do our bodies good. Amen.
Amen. Okay, you hungry, Anthony? Mm-hmm. You're not hungry, are you? I think I'll just give myself some instead.
No, you are.
Yeah, I don't think you're ready for this flour porridge. I don't think you're ready for flour porridge. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Is that too much?
No.
Is that too much?
Just do normal.
Is that too much? Is that too much?
I'm not going to tell you. Just say something for you.
Alright.
Okay.
There you go.
Mmm. Tasty.
Mmm. Delicious, just how I remember it when I was a child. Well, I'm the Flour Man. It's time for my breakfast. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy baking. Or porridge making.
Flour Man. You're not ready for Flour Man. Uncle David, I'm done.